It is Monday the 24th of August and Games Workshop are continuing with their coverage of 11th edition 40k. Today, it's the turn of Space Marines. Now, this is a spicy one. Let's get into it. Hello everybody, welcome back to Madhouse Hobbies. As mentioned in the intro, today is Monday and Games Workshop, as per usual schedule, are dropping 40k nuggets, or just updates in general. And today, they've given a few. So we're going to start off with probably the least interesting. Not to say it's not a good one, but they have released this. This is a new Space Marine captain on bike. So this is the new Outrider captain. This is nothing new for Space Marines. Not really. They used to have a bike captain. They got rid of a bike captain. They put him into Legends. Now there's a new one. I'm not going to say it's anything spectacular model-wise, but that's not to say it doesn't look cool. I do quite like the model. It's very much in keeping with the rest of the Outriders. He has a few fancy bits to him. He's got the Aquila wings on either side of the bike. He's got the eagle head on the front. He's got whatever that thing is that's on top of the bike. I can never remember the name of it. It's a version of the Crux Terminatus, I think. I don't know. Comes with a few options. So we see a Thunderhammer. There's an option with a Power Sword, I do believe. Chainsword option. Plasma pistol option. Various heads. The usual shebang. He even has a lovely flowing cape that comes off one shoulder. All in all, a nice looking model. Nothing absolutely spectacular, like some of the other models we've seen, but a nice model. And that is probably one of the least interesting parts of the releases today. So, let's get into the other ones, because the other ones are spicy. So, they released a video for the new Codex Space Marines and the expectations for what is to come. And as we saw with the Orcs, they got a little bit of a boost to their stat line. Now, in response to that, Space Marines have got a bit of a boost to their stat line. Not just one, even. So we are now seeing Space Marines going up to Strength 5 for not only their combat weapons, but also their bolt weapons. So we have combat knives, chainswords, and bolt pistols going up to Strength 5. The Intercessor bolt rifle now has 2 fire modes. We have one that's Strength 5, and another one at Strength 6. And not only that, but warriors in Tacticus plate, so we're talking regular Intercessors here, are going up to Toughness 5. Yeah, I was quite surprised about that, if I'm quite honest. But there's more. Phobos troops are staying at Toughness 4, but because they're now lighter armoured, or they've been lighter armoured anyway, but now they are actually lighter armoured in the game, they get to move an extra 2 inches, so their movement goes up to 8 inches. So they are now a lot faster. I mean, 2 inches in a tabletop game is quite fast. And that's not all. As it says in the article, that's just a taste of the big changes that are coming to Space Marine, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing the rest of the codex. There's a lot of stat changes and weapon profile changes throughout the codex. These do come with points changes, so there are fewer models on the board, which is only a good thing if you're making them that tough. So yes, the way they phrase it in the article is to make the army smaller, playing more like the elite strike forces from the lore. I'm quite keen to see the points changes. It'll be interesting to see how much they go up. But not only that, you may be thinking, well, if the regular Intercessors are Toughness 5, what are they doing with Terminators? Well, they answer that. So Terminators are now going up to Toughness 6, so they're bumping up another Toughness again because they went up to Toughness 5 in the previous edition. And they also have Strength 5 Storm Mortars. Now, if anyone remembers, Space Marines used to have 1 wound. Space Marines got an extra wound when I believe their 9th edition codex came out, which also translated to the Firstborn Marines. So it started off as the Primaris Marines, and then they gave that to regular Marines as well. At the time, they didn't do anything about the Chaos side, so Chaos Marines still only had 1 wound, and there was a bit of contention between the two sides. But this time, as when the Codex Space Marine drops, the same update will be applied to Chaos Marines. Now that is quite helpful for Chaos Marine players. Heretic Astartes and Codex Divergent chapters will get similar boosts to bring them in line with these new rules, so everyone can enjoy Toughness 6 Terminators firing Strength 5 Stormbolters. These will automatically update in Warhammer 40,000 the app when Codex Space Marines launches in October. So you got a month and a bit. Now, this poses an interesting question. What about Custodes? Because Custodes also went up in toughness recently, I believe. And then, are they going to go up again? So Custodes is going to be toughness 6 as standard, or toughness 7? And then what are their points going to look like? Because they already need to be pretty elite on the board. So they need fewer numbers than Space Marines by far, because in the lore you have 1 Custodes on a planet and the planet is doomed. But in this case, or more recently, they've had relatively good sized army. It'll be interesting to see what exactly happens with them as well. And then, as well as these new stat changes, which there's not even all of them by the sounds of things, we have a number of units leaving as well. So, let me read this passage here. So, as we heard, many Venerable Space Marine units will be leaving the Codex. This doesn't mean that you need to stop using them in your games. Many of these units can continue to serve in your army using the rules for comparable units as legendary proxies, while other units will continue to be supported with Legends rules. As with Legends rules, legendary proxies can be used at home in stores, clubs and campaigns, but if attending a competitive Warhammer event, these units should only be used with the permission of the event organizer. So they're not necessarily leaving the game entirely, some will still be supported. But we know that that means that they're essentially being removed entirely. So, the following units are leaving the Codex and becoming legendary proxies. Now I'll give you a guess as to which ones they are. You were probably right. We have tactical squads. They count as intercessors. We have devastator squads. They count as desolation squads. We have suppressor squads, which is quite surprising in my opinion because they were already part of the Primaris range. They are Phobos Marine. Well, they now count as Inceptors. We have Pedro Cantor. He counts as a regular captain. And we have Uriel Ventress. He counts as a regular captain. And now we have the ones that are leaving the Codex but will become, but will get Warhammer Legends rules. I'll give you another moment to guess. You were probably right. So we have the Centurion Assault Squad and the Centurion Devastator Squad. We have the Razorback, the Predator Destructor, the Predator Annihilator, the Vindicator, the Whirlwind. So pretty much every Rhino-based tank apart from the Rhino. We then have the Stormhawk Interceptor, the Storm Talon Gunship, the Storm Raven Gunship, and, quite randomly, the Hammerfall Bunker, which is relatively new. But, I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone ever use that thing in a game, unless it was just a terrain piece. I mean, I'd still use it as a terrain piece with guns, but I don't think anyone's ever had it as part of their army when they could have fortifications. A bit like the Webway Gate for the Eldar. I don't think I saw anyone ever bring a Webway Gate to a game. It says at the bottom, rules for Space Marine Legends units will also be added to the Warhammer 40,000 app alongside the Codex, so they will at least be available in the app. So it's easier than ever to add them to your armies. This will be the pattern with Legends units in all armies as new codexes are released. So at least the rules will still be there, but you would have to get permission from event organizers, or they would have to put out a notification before the event to say whether these units are actually available to use at that event. So realistically, when you're list building, if you're going to a tournament, none of these are going to be used. Now granted, I don't know how many of them are currently being used, because generally I think the new Primaris Grav tanks are more effective. And I'm a Space Wolf player anyway, so I don't know people running tanks with Space Wolves. It's usually lots of Terminator and Wolfen and killy things. So yes, today has been a bit of a bumper day for Space Marine fans. Bit of a mixed bag, really. On the one hand, you've got some incredible stat changes which could essentially break the game in a few instances. It rather depends on how much the points go up for those units. It would depend on the rules interactions in the Codex. I'm guessing there's going to be somewhere in the region of 15 detachments, similar to the Orc Codex. It's going to be interesting to see, I've got to say. And the ramifications for some other factions as well. Like, are the Eldar going to get a bump in toughness? Are they going to suddenly stop being toughness 3? Or is there going to be a parity between them and Guard? Are they Guard going to be somewhere in the middle? I did see an interesting comment earlier today online. Someone asking if their Guard were going to go to movement 10 because Phobos were getting extra movement. It's like, no. Yeah. Space Marines are superhuman, and just making the lighter ones a little bit faster kind of makes sense, but Guard are not going to be as fast as Space Marines. I don't know why they ever were as fast as Space Marines, but there we go. So yeah, interesting times. I do need to have a look at the Orc Codex at some stage. I want to see, or if you can let me know, what units have been taken out of the Orc Codex. I know the buggies have been kind of consolidated into one stat line, just as Orc buggies. And I believe the Orcs have kept their flyers. I don't think there are any Space Marine flyers left in the game now. I know you got the Land Speeder and the Storm Speeder. But they're not really flyers, the skimmers, more like. I don't think there's any flyers left for Space Marines. Because even Space Wolves, well, in 10th edition, Space Wolves lost the Stormfang and Stormwolf. So they haven't got that. Deathwatch have got their flyer. Are they going to lose that? Isn't that their only transport for Deathwatch? Outside of maybe a Rhino? Who else had specific ones? I think it was it. Right. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. Do you think that this is going to break the game even more? Is this just more signs of Codex creep? What are you expecting the points hikes to be like? What are you expecting the other stat changes to be like? There's a few questions to come from this, I think. It'd be interesting to see some more rules updates in the coming weeks before the Codex is actually released. Yeah. Comments down below. If you can give us a like and a subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, come back for more. I release them as and when I can. I do have lots of ideas for other videos to do. I have lots of ideas for the room behind me to get it ready to make it a bit more presentable in these videos. But, you know, time and such. So, yes, thank you all very much for watching. As I say, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Have a nice discussion. Keep it civil. And I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.